Okay, so why am I not purging during my Kambo experience? Why is my client not purging in my Kambo experience? So 95% of the time, this is my completely made up statistic, I would attribute the challenge of vomiting in Kambo to be psychological. And there are other reasons why someone might be struggling to purge. It could be a dosage, right? When we do microdosing, the whole point is to not purge, and so obviously if you keep the dose at a certain subpurgative level, then it would make sense that you wouldn't have the urge or desire to purge. And sometimes you do get people that have unique physiology that are like extremely robust, or perhaps they have very high level of liver enzyme activity, and they're metabolizing the Kambo peptides so rapidly that they didn't really have the chance to experience a lot of nausea or gastrointestinal discomfort. Or when people are like really, really healthy, people that do a lot of fasting, people that are marathon runners and athletes, I do see that sometimes they don't have as much of a need to purge even when they're having a full experience. But primarily the reason that people don't purge is because psychologically they are bracing themselves. And what this really comes down to is they need to feel safe. And even if somebody wants to purge, even if they're consciously really have the intention to let go of something or to open up and to relax, often it's unconscious and they are gripping, they're bracing, they're contracted, and they're unconsciously fighting, fully allowing this experience to take them over because they're scared, because this is the pattern, this is the trauma patterning that they have been perpetuating their entire life in order to protect themselves, in order to maintain functionality. And so our job as a practitioner is to gracefully kind of massage the environment and the container for this person to make sure that they have full permission and that they have the guidance and the tools to let go completely. And often what this means is that we aren't slamming them with high doses and overwhelming them so that they're just in survival mode trying to get through the experience. That's not how you help someone open up. That's not how you help them lean into exploring the sensations and becoming embodied again. Because that's really one of the gifts of Kambo, is it invites us into our body to experience these very unique sensations that really nothing else makes us feel. And when we are overwhelmed, when we are surviving an experience, we go into this bracing stress response, and we're disassociated, we're disconnected, and therefore we're not actually tuned in to that nausea and gastrointestinal nervous system feedback loop that is imperative for allowing nausea to come. So really, ultimately, it comes down to the person has to open up, they have to relax, they have to not feel overwhelmed, and they have to feel comfortable playing and exploring and leaning into the edges of discomfort without feeling completely destroyed or overwhelmed by how intense the experience is. And that can be done with appropriate dosage and guidance and coaching. Now, like I said, sometimes it has to do with just dosage. And one thing that you can do is you can really look at, okay, well, is the medicine intense for them in other ways? Are they sweating profusely? Is their face swollen? Do they seem uncomfortable? Are they groaning? Are they getting a lot of hot flushing sensation or heartbeat sensation? So you can look at them, you can observe them, you can check in with them, ask them what's going on for them. And if they're experiencing these intense sensations, but they're struggling to allow the purge, or they're feeling nauseous, but the purge isn't coming, I guarantee you that's a mind thing. And sometimes one of the tricks that I do is I'll actually remove the points, and people think they're done, and then they vomit. That's usually a last resort for me. There's other tricks and tips that I like to try first, but that's what tells you that somebody was holding on, is when they think they're done, when they think that you've pulled the points off of them, and then it comes, you go, it was your mind. You were holding yourself back. So that's likely what stops someone from really purging. But be kind to yourself, be kind to your clients, and this is a process and it's a skill that we develop, and it doesn't have to happen overnight, and it doesn't have to happen in one ceremony. It might take several ceremonies for someone to cultivate an ability to gracefully allow purge to come through. So I hope that helps.